Hi there. Welcome to a series of videos called English for Emerson. This is the channel where we do basic English reading and writing. You need something to write with, something to write on. You can see that I got a board here with sloppy lines going side to side. Hopefully you got some nice paper with lines on it and we're ready to go. We've been working on stuff called folk sayings. I'm going to put it right up here. This is what we've been doing lately. I don't know how long we'll be doing it. I guess till I run out of folk sayings, which it might be a while. These are sayings from the old times that don't really have very much to do with modern life because they come from a time that's long gone. But they're still part of our language and they're still used today. And so they have a heck of a lot of wisdom in them. They've been around a long time, and not everybody, a lot of people use them. And if you don't know what any of these folk sayings mean, well, you kind of miss out on two things. Number one, you miss out on the wisdom of our ancestors, and two, you have less idea what people are talking about because people use these phrases all the time. We got a good one today. Here we go. Starts off with the TH. T starts with a straight line down from the top and then a bar on the top going from left to right. T-H-E. The next word is going to be squeaky. Huh? Squeaky. Here we go. S. Q. We haven't done a Q on here for a while. U, E-A, squeaky. It's going to be K with the arm, and then the leg, and then a Y. Squeaky. S-Q-U-E-A-K-Y. Notice that along here, every letter stops at the bottom line except for the Q and the Y. They hang down below. Now we're going to do a wheel. Wheel starts with W. You can hear the W in wheel. And believe it or not, there's a silent H in wheel. We know about this because we've been doing a lot of WHs lately. You know, when you got a WH, either the W or the H is going to be silent, usually. In this case, the H is silent. Then we got two E's and an L. Wheel. The squeaky wheel gets is G-E-T-S. It's not a very attractive T right there. The squeaky wheel gets. Sloppy writing today for me. I gotta try to do better. The squeaky wheel gets the. We got another T coming up here. Grease. G-R-E-A-S-E. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Oh boy. Heck of a lot of E's in this phrase. I notice when I look at this that every single word in this sentence has an E in it. Look at that. They all make different noises. Isn't that interesting? In different combinations. We got an E here that makes the sound Then we got an EA combination here. That makes the sound E, squeaky. Then we got, and notice that the Y at the end of squeaky makes the E sound. You got it all in English. Squeaky. It's not squeak I. It's not squeak Y. It's not squeak ya. It's squeaky. The Y can make a heck of a lot of different noises, and one of them is the E. Then we got wheel. So we got an EA here that makes the sound E. Then we got an EE here that makes the sound E and wheel. Wheel. Now we got an E here that makes the sound for gets. Then we got another in the, and then we got an EA here that makes the sound E in grease. And we got, look at that at the end. A silent E. It's not greasy. No. It's grease. EA are vowels here and there, and we have an E at the end. Therefore, we know that E is going to be silent. If we do that in every lesson, I think. You got an E at the end of the word. If there's another vowel in the word, which E and A are both vowels, then the E at the end is silent. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. What in the world does this mean? Well, I want you to think about a wagon. Underneath the wagon, you got a thing called an axle. I'll put the word up here. Axle. You got two axles on a wagon. And the wheels are at the end of the axles. Okay? There's two wheels, one on each end of the axle. The axle stays stationary. It just sits there. The wheels spin on that axle. Okay, do you follow me? They go round and round, and the axle stays in the same spot. Well, how does that work? How do those wheels go round and round if the axle stayed on the same spot and the same place and the wheels are connected? Well, the axles are just rotating. The wheels are rotating on the axle. And you have to have grease, which is like a heavy, super thick, sticky oil that goes on the axle. And that lets the wheel go round and round and round smoothly. It doesn't have any what you'd call friction. Friction is when two things rub together. Well, the grease keeps the wheel from rubbing on the axle. But if the grease starts to go dry and you get low on grease, your axle hub where the wheel attaches, if it runs out of grease, what's going to happen? That wheel is going to start to squeak every time it goes around. That's not good. Eventually it'll get hot and might even break the whole thing down. Make it very difficult for the oxen or the horses to pull the wagon because it's going to have a lot of friction. Friction is when things are rubbed together and don't move easily. Well, the farmer or the pioneer or the homesteader, whatever, you might start to hear that squeaking of a wheel. There's something squeaking back there. And he would have to go back and put grease on the squeaky wheel, right at the axle where the wheel attached to the axle. And that, after adding the grease, the squeak would go away because there was no more friction. It would just go easily around. Well, why do we use this saying in modern life? What the heck does this mean? Because yes, axles are still greased to this day, but you go to a mechanic to do it. You know. It's not something that has to be done very often. It's all it's all done inside with it's hard to explain. It doesn't have to be done as often as it did in the old days. Why would someone use this today? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, usually it's meant to say that whoever is voicing their complaint or whoever's asking for what they need tends to get it. Whoever's asking for what they want tends to get it. That's the nature of life. And this is a good lesson for everybody, is that how do you get what you want in life? Well, you have to make some noise. you gotta make some noise. You gotta call some attention to yourself. You can't go through life with your lips sealed, hoping that someone's going to come along and give you the things that you need. It doesn't work that way, usually. Usually not. Usually, sometimes it does. But if you really want something, chances are you're going to have to ask for it. People can always say no. And they do all the time. But if you want to get some grease, if you want anything, grease could be, whatever you need, you gotta ask for it. How does a wheel get some grease? Well, it squeaks. Then the farmer would come and grease it up. What I'm trying to say is, you can always ask. People can always say no. But if you're going to get anything in life, a good place to start is to go ahead and ask for it. Simple advice from the old times. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's all. For some folk wisdom on English for Emerson. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.